This is such a fun family parade to attend.
We have a lot of events, a lot of parades, different Christmas events, so we're going to get right into it because we don't want to waste anyone's time.
We have so many great things going on. The challenge to that is just the heavy traffic and expect it. Pack some extra hot cocoa because it's supposed to be cold on Saturday. You're going to have a great time.
It's a complete safe process. It's an anonymous process. In the best case scenario, a fugitive gets arrested, that you get paid a cash reward, and you're anonymous and the community gets safer.
That really is a big grab too, not just staying anonymous, but the fact that you can get paid to help solve crime.
SaferWatch will be our primary tool of communication this weekend for all the events that impact our community.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Never Off Duty podcast. I'm your host, Ben Ryan with the Clay County Sheriff's Office. Alongside of me, Sheriff Michelle Cook, Sheriff of the Clay County Sheriff's Office.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, good to see you again. Welcome back. This is our second episode. First and foremost, just wanted to thank everyone for tuning in to our return episode of Never Off Duty. It's been a while. It was really good to be back. We've had some good positive feedback, and we have the sheriff on twice in a row here. So we have a lot to discuss this time around because December 13th, a big day for the county.
It's the Clay County Super Bowl.
The Clay County Super Bowl.
December 13th.
We call it a Clay County Christmas. We had posted the other day, Clay County Christmas is near. So we have a lot of events, a lot of parades, different Christmas events. So we're going to get right into it because we don't want to waste anyone's time. First of all, just a lot going on. We are aware of at least 22 events in the county, Sheriff.
Yeah, and I think that's important for the citizens of Clay County to know when planning, going out with their families or planning on attending any one of the events. We are aware of at least 22 different events. We will have deputies at quite a few of them, not all of them, but traffic is going to be heavy. Now, the good news is that I've been checking out the weather forecast, and the weather forecast looks great, but traffic is going to be heavy, and I think people need to be aware of what to expect this Saturday.
Yeah, traffic there'll be some delays at pretty much all the spots where there's going to be Christmas parades, but like you mentioned, we will have off-duty personnel working those parades. We're going to try to make it as easy as possible for everyone, but a lot of the big ones that we're working, we're talking Middleburg Parade, there's the Keystone Heights Parade, Oak Leaf, Journey to the Nativity.
Whitey's Boat Parade.
Whitey's Boat Parade as well. I don't know how I can forget that one.
Penny Farms is having a parade.
Penny Farms, there's a lot. So, what's the most important thing that you want the community to know as we get a little bit closer to it? Because we want to give everyone just an ample amount of time to be aware of what's going on.
There's a couple of things that I think are really important. First of all, plan ahead. Be prepared to leave early. Take everything that you need. Expect traffic delays and plan ahead to get to where you're going to. The good news is that we have so many great things going on. The challenge to that is just the heavy traffic and expect it. So, if you go into it and you're expecting it and you leave a little bit early, pack some extra hot cocoa because it's supposed to be cold on Saturday. You're going to have a great time.
And we'll go through the routes real quick. Had them written down and for those watching on YouTube, I will make sure that we'll have the maps that pop up a little bit so you can visually see what I'm talking about here. And for those listening, we're going to have to I'll walk you through the maps. So we got a couple different ones. We have Middleburg Parade, so that's going to be held inside the Adventure Park out near the Clay County Gun Range. It's going to begin in the outdoor park. It's going to go out to County Road 215, then loop back to the outdoor park. So just for everyone to be aware, if you do park on County Road 215, don't cross on your own. We're going to have those deputies in place. Try to find a crosswalk if it's out there. But they'll be working to assist people.
Yeah, and let me give our viewers a little tip on how to make this go a little bit quicker. So most people come down Blanding, and then they turn back towards Camp Blanding on 215. But if you go down Blanding and then take 16 and come back in the back way, it's a little bit quicker to get in. Again, this is a great parade because it's in the outdoor adventure park area. And we did it there last year for the first time, got a great response, but it'll take a minute to get parked. So just be patient on that one. If you come in off of 16, off of 215 that way in the back way, get you a little bit quicker. The other thing about this parade, too, I want to remind people is when it's over, give us a couple of minutes to clear the floats out of the way before you jump in your cars and try to head out. And this is an evening time parade. Make sure you check Facebook Middleburg Christmas Parade for the exact start time. But this is definitely an evening parade and will affect the traffic out Blanding towards 215, maybe a little bit of 16 out towards Camp Landing.
And then the next one that we want to bring up as well is the Oak Leaf Parade.
That's another big one.
It's another big one.
Yes.
So this starts at the Trinity Oak Leaf Church. That's near the roundabout, and it's going to end at Oak Leaf High School. So if you live in a neighborhood in that general area and it's a one-way in, one-way out, they will be closed off except for obviously any emergencies. We'll make sure that we're able to get in and out there if something happens.
Yeah, and this is one of the parades that definitely has the most impact when it comes to traffic and getting in and out, because during the parade times, the roads are actually closed. And as you said, unless it's an emergency, you're going to be either in or out. So if you've got to leave to go to work that day, or you want to get back home before the parade starts, plan accordingly. I know that the Oak Leaf Parade also has a Facebook page, which you can go to and get more information. But this is definitely one that has a pretty high impact when it comes to affecting traffic in the area.
Yeah, but it's another evening parade as well.
Yes.
I'm totally blanking on the specific start time, so I apologize to our listeners and our viewers, but it's another evening parade. We'll make sure that we have all of the links and start times on our social media page as well, so that everyone's aware. The next one, as we mentioned before, Whitey's Boat Parade. Not necessarily, obviously, on land, but it's in the water. But there will still be some pedestrian traffic, and we'll have our traffic deputies also kind of trying to make it a little bit easier out there as well.
Yeah, this one gets packed. So the Whitey's parking lot gets packed early, and we're asking people, don't stop your cars on the bridge there to try to watch the parade. That just causes a traffic nightmare for us. If you're gonna go to Whitey's, which is that's a fun parade to watch, all the boats that are decorated, make sure you get there early. And again, just pack your patience if you're in the area, because that one, once that parade, and it's another evening time parade, once that parade gets started, it's very congested. The traffic will still move in that area, but it's very congested with not only cars, but people who've parked and are trying to cross the street to get over to watch the parade.
Yep. And then that last parade, or the last major one, we'll call it, because there's a lot of events going on, is the Keystone Heights Parade. So that parade goes on Southwest Pecan Street, or Pecan Street, however you say it. Then northbound on State Road 21, it'll turn left on Flamingo Street. That will end the route, so there's going to be detours in that area as well. We've had a lot of planning meetings for all of these parades and events, so we'll have a good presence out there. We want to make sure it's as smooth as possible. But yeah, if you are looking to get through, there's going to be some detours in the area to make it easy for you.
Yeah, State Road 21 is a big road out there, so this will also have traffic impacts. But this is such a fun family parade to attend, and this, if you're out in that area, I encourage you to get out early, get your chairs set up early, and enjoy the time. I hear Santa's going to be at this one as well. Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
I might need to make it out there. I love seeing Santa. That's
Which
the best.
list are you on?
I'm hoping it's a nice list.
Okay, well, we'll see.
We'll see. I hope it's a nice list. But those are, some of those major events. We'll get the times specifically on all the pages. All of those, or majority, are evening parades. There are some obviously earlier in the day. There's
yeah,
some
and in fact,
I
want to talk about a couple of the big events that are happening during the day. So we have the J.P. Christmas toy giveaway, and that'll start early, and that's at the fairgrounds. So you may see some backups if you're near the fairgrounds Saturday morning. And another one of my favorite parades, and it's to me a best kept secret, especially if you have young children, is the Penny Farms Parade, and that does stay on the Penny Farms property. So you can kind of pull in there and you'll see where everybody's lined up. And if you have small kids, this is to me the best one to go to. It doesn't last super long. It's during the day and it's super safe, and that's a fun one to attend.
Awesome. And this is the last thing that we'll mention too, just regarding safety purposes and things of that nature, is we want the community to treat, if you do have kids, kind of treat this like you're going to the fair. Obviously make sure that you're keeping eyes on your children. There's going to be a big crowd, so treat it like you're going to the fair. Make sure that you come prepared.
Yeah, and I would say, especially if you're going to one of the larger parades, take a picture of what your kid is wearing for us before you head over there. That way, if unfortunately your child becomes lost, we could put out their picture immediately with what they're wearing that day.
Awesome. And we're going to be posting all the traffic updates, everything of that nature, on the SaferWatch app, which we'll get to in just a little bit. Stick around for the next segment as well, though. We have Chase Robinson. He's the executive director of First Coast Crime Stoppers. He provides a lot of good information for us. And then coming back, we'll explain a little bit more about SaferWatch is. But appreciate you listening here at the Never Off Duty podcast. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all of it. We'll be back just a second with more Never Off Duty. All right, welcome back to the Never Off Duty podcast. We have a very special guest. We have Chase Robinson. He is the executive director of First Coast Crime Stoppers. First and foremost, I want to say thank you very much for coming on the podcast here, Chase. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
So obviously, First Coast Crime Stoppers been around for a long time. We've had a great connection with y'all and partnership with working with Crime Stoppers. Most people know what Crime Stoppers is. It's a crime-fighting tool, helps us solve crimes, gets the community involved. But tell us a little bit about First Coast Crime Stoppers in general first. Let's get that out of the way there.
So first off, we're a nonprofit organization, so we're not associated with any specific law enforcement entity. So we cover around 13 local agencies, from the Beaches Police Department to Sheriff's Office to local police departments. And what we really try to focus on is a guaranteed anonymous way for anyone that lives in the 6-county area that we cover to submit information about crimes. And a lot of times what happens is you see in a news article or in an interview the 1-866-845-TIPS, hey, give us a call. And that's not just related to homicides, high-profile cases. It's anything from local drug trafficking to missing persons or to just any ordinary local or low-level crimes as well.
I was going to say, I feel like sometimes that is the misconception, that it has to be a very, very high-profile crime for someone to call Crime Stoppers and to warrant that. And obviously I said, hey, what is Crime Stoppers? You have so much information on Crime Stoppers, obviously being the executive director here. But yeah, obviously a big thing about Crime Stoppers is that you can stay anonymous. So how exactly does that work? Because we say it all the time, but some people still might be a little scared to do so because they don't want anything to happen to them. And obviously we do our best to keep the community safe, but just in general, when it comes to staying anonymous, how do you do that?
So from a 10,000 point view, we aren't associated with any public entity while we work with law enforcement agencies, so we're not subject to public record requests. And outside of that, what differentiates us from other organizations, other private entities, is that we have 3 Florida statutes that protect the conversations and information held within Crime Stopper tips. And we're one of the only states that has statutes protecting tipsters and their information. So when someone does submit information about any crime to Crime Stoppers, they are protected through the legal aspect. They don't have to worry about a defense attorney or a judge coming back and subpoenaing the tip information, tracking IP addresses, anything like that. It really is anonymous. And then from our perspective, when we're actually dealing with the phone calls, dealing with the information, when someone calls our hotline, it's not going to an office here in Jacksonville. It's actually going to a undisclosed location in Southeast Texas, to a call center that all they do is answer Crime Stopper calls from around the world. And they're trained on what to collect, what not to collect, and they don't track your phone calls, your phone number, where the phone is or where the call is coming from. And I think it just speaks to the protection from the legal aspect as well as the actual tip submission process itself, that is how we're able to guarantee anonymity.
And what does the process look like in the order of events, if you will? Like you said, you kind of make a phone call first. I know sometimes there's different ways that you can submit tips, but say they dial the phone. What happens from there? It goes, like you said, it goes to someone else who is trained. From there, how does it get back to the agency and stay anonymous that entire time?
So the information that they tell the individual on the other side of the line gets entered into what we call our P3 system. And this P3 system is the brains of Crime Stoppers. So this is how us here in Jacksonville can have access to that crime information. And our tips coordinator, all she does is sift through this information and determine, okay, if this is, say, someone reporting an incident in Clay County, but it's within the jurisdiction of, say, Orange Park, she then will relay that information to the correct law enforcement agency and then the correct division within that law enforcement agency if it's appropriate. So that's why we encourage people to just speak up about a crime you see. You don't have to worry about what number to call, what agency to report it to just report that information to Crime Stoppers. We sift through all of that for our tipsters. And if the tipster wants to find out, well, hey, I remember that tip that I gave, 2 weeks ago. What happened to that? Did it lead to an arrest? Am I going to get a reward? Well, they reach out to us. They can message on our website, our mobile app. They can call our office line and check the status of their tip. And if it has, in fact, led to an arrest, they will be eligible for a cash reward of now up to $5,000. And I think the payout process is really unique. And right now we're seeing about a 60% pickup rate. So these are tips that have led to an arrest that individuals just haven't picked up their reward. And I get asked a lot that, hey, well, how am I picking up a cash reward and still remaining anonymous? How is someone going to hand me a $100 bill and not?
That was my next
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
How does that pay? And again, if you are allowed to explain that, how does that work? Because that really is a big grab to it. Not just staying anonymous, but the fact that you can get paid to help solve crimes. Obviously, we can't do it without the community's help, and these tips are essential. So the payout process, yeah, that's what everyone wants to know. Hey, how do I get paid? Would love to do it, but I'll only do it if I can get paid. But any tip is an important tip. How does that work?
So if the information does lead to an arrest, you are eligible for a reward, and the amount of the reward is determined by our board of directors. So it can range from a simple narcotics reward, which is $250, all the way up now to homicides paying upwards of $5,000. And if it's an enhanced reward case, it could be upwards $25,000, $30,000, $35,000. But regardless of how much the reward is, it's, well, what does that pickup process look like? So we partner with banks around the area, and we coordinate with our tipsters to figure out a specific date, a specific time, and a specific location in which they are going to present a reward pickup code in the drive-through line to the bank teller. Okay. And this reward pickup code is provided by our tips coordinator when our tipsters call in to check the status of their tip. And this reward number is pretty much your bank account number. So what our tipsters do is they write it on a piece of paper. They simply put it in the bank teller tube, goes back to the bank teller. They've been trained in paying out Crime Stopper rewards, match up all the information we've pre-sent over. They then take the money out of our account, put it in an envelope, send it back down to the tipster. They drive off. There's no face-to-face interaction, no driver's license required. There's not a detective or someone waiting at the bank teller to ask you questions after you pick it up. It really is anonymous from the beginning all the way up to picking up their reward.
Yeah, and obviously that is a huge deal. Like we said, that's the being able to stay anonymous, being able to get a little bit of money out of that too. And for you working with First Coast Crime Stoppers, how long have you been with them for now?
So I'm going on 5 years now total. So going on 2.5, almost 3 years as director. So I mean, I love what I do. I love the organization. I love all the agencies we get to work with. Clay County in particular. I've grown up coming here. My wife works in Middleburg. She's a veterinarian. It's good to see the area grow, and I really think that there's a potential here for Crime Stoppers to make a difference, and it really is. While we get our number blasted and try to get people to submit tips, it's the community wanting to speak up, and it's the detectives actually going out and looking into this tip information and making the arrest that really makes this whole process possible.
And you guys have been doing a lot, especially within the last year or two, especially. We've seen the digital press conferences, a lot of different ways just to get the word out, because it is important to do so. So what are a few things that you guys have implemented, say, in the last year or two that you've seen has made a difference into getting more tips?
So I guess along with just law enforcement in general, really increasing the presence on social media, we're seeing that whether it's a law enforcement agency posting about a crime on social media or us simply resharing or creating our own content about a specific crime, that it reaches the right people so they can take screenshots of what they see. They can submit that directly to our P3 system, and we're seeing that play a huge role in assisting detectives and getting those images of whether it's a suspect, a vehicle, a license plate, to people who might know something. Yeah. And then along with that, the digital press conferences, that's focused on cold case homicides, because a lot of times families that are dealing with losing loved ones 10, 15 years ago, they feel left behind by the law enforcement system, right? And we try to give them a platform that their voice matters and that their voice deserves to be heard. And who knows what can happen? Best case scenario, we can reach someone who knows something and an arrest can be made. And we just really want to bring, I guess, attention to these families and just make them aware that Crime Stoppers cares, law enforcement cares, and the community cares.
Yeah, and obviously being there for 5 years, doing as much work as you've been doing with First Coast Crime Stoppers, I mean, you breathe, eat, sleep Crime Stoppers. How many tips do you guys normally receive a year if you have that number available? And how do they manage all that? Because there's, again, you guys cover a lot of different counties, so how does that work?
So I was just actually compiling our stats for 2025, going back to January 1 of this year, and we're right at 3,000 tips that we received this year, right at about 188 arrests, which is a 10-year high for us. So I think that's important that not only are we receiving tips, but the information within the tips is credible to law enforcement. And managing the roughly 3,000 tips, like I said, it really goes down to our tips coordinator being able to distribute that out in quite literally minutes from the moment that a tip is submitted to where it's on the desk of a detective. And that also speaks to the work of the detectives and law enforcement agencies themselves, right? We kind of our spot ends once it goes to the detective, right? It really is the job of law enforcement to take that next step, to locate the suspect, to see if the tip is credible. So we're really at the disposal of law enforcement, and we're very grateful to that this information is respected, it's looked into, because there's a fear of retaliation. There's a fear of sometimes distrust with law enforcement, and that's where we really try to step in to say, hey, we'll take care of everything on your behalf. We will deal with law enforcement, and we can really have that collaborative effort between Crime Stoppers, the community, and law enforcement.
And it's important to know for the community, any tip that comes in, we look into those tips, and especially the Crime Stoppers, SaferWatch, all the tips that we get. So it's a big deal, and we appreciate you being here. Before I let you go, because we appreciate you coming down to Green Cove, like I mentioned. Before I let you go, just what is your message to the community in trusting Crime Stoppers?
First things first is, if you see anything that makes you uncomfortable, that you deem shouldn't be happening, in whether it's your neighborhood, your community, a local shopping center, I encourage citizens of Clay County to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and to take that next step and protect their community. I know the Clay County Sheriff's Office does a phenomenal job of making this community a safe place to live, but that can only go so far. There's only so much reach that a police department has, and we really encourage the community to really take that extra step into their community. I mean, the roughly, 240-ish thousand people that live in Clay County. I mean, that's 240,000 sets of eyes and ears. Oh, yeah, the 8.5% growth rate. I mean, it's high. It's exciting to see. But imagine all those eyes and ears working in tandem with law enforcement and having an anonymous way that, hey, if you say something and it doesn't lead to an arrest, there's no consequences for that. There's no, hey, that didn't lead to anything, something, funny is going to happen. It's a complete safe process. It's an anonymous process. In the best case scenario, a fugitive gets arrested, that you get paid a cash reward, and you're anonymous, and the community gets safer. So that's my message to Clay County.
We appreciate it, Chase. One more time, tell us that number.
All right, 1-866-845-TIPS, star tips on your mobile phone. You can also download our P3 Tips app or go to fccrimestoppers.com.
Awesome. Chase Robinson, the Executive Director at First Coast Crime Stoppers. We appreciate you stopping by. A lot of really good info there. We appreciate you, and we'll be right back with some more Never Off Duty podcast. All right, welcome back to the Never Off Duty podcast. That was Chase Robinson, the Executive Director of First Coast Crime Stoppers, providing a lot of valuable information. Crime Stoppers is a essential tool that we use to help solve crimes in our community. Another one that we also use, though, is SaferWatch, the SaferWatch app. We talk a lot about that as well. We're going to be using it for all the Christmas events, too. So Sheriff Michelle Cook alongside me here, go ahead and just explain a little bit about what exactly SaferWatch is, because there is a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a difference. Both are valuable tools for our community. So Crime Stoppers specifically deals with wanted people, right? With SaferWatch, this SaferWatch is a two-way communication tool that we use specifically for Clay County. And what it allows us to do is push out real-time information to people who've downloaded the free app. It's a free app. You go on there, you put some information in, and notifications are pushed to you. So if we have a critical incident or a traffic crash or heavy traffic that's going to impact your activities on Saturday, you'll get a push notification letting you know. The other great thing about SaferWatch is if you see something suspicious, you can send us a picture or video, and it immediately comes into our real-time crime center and is sent out to our deputies almost instantaneously. And I know earlier we talked about, take a picture of your child and what they're wearing. So if you bring your child to a parade and you've taken a picture and your child goes missing, you can tell me your child's missing. You can send me the picture, and within seconds, I can put that picture out to everybody in the area to be on the lookout for your child. So I strongly encourage, if you haven't already, please download the SaferWatch app. It is a free app, and it is a wonderful tool to keep our community safe.
It's a great tool. We have over 50,000 active users on SaferWatch at last check. So a lot of people have it downloaded, and sometimes when there is a police presence or something happening, everyone's always like, well, what's going on? And they have to search through Facebook. But if you have it downloaded, like you mentioned, it'll send you that direct push notification. So for all the Christmas events, the Christmas chaos, the Super Bowl, Clay County Super Bowl, if you will, for all of that, come Saturday, that's how we'll be pushing some of the traffic notifications. So once it starts and then once it ends, so that way you know what's going on at that time.
Yeah, SaferWatch will be our primary tool of communication this weekend for all the events that impact our community.
Awesome. Well, Sheriff, appreciate you talking a little bit about the Christmas events here on the Never Off Duty podcast. So we thank everyone for watching, for listening as well. As a reminder, we are on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music. And a reminder, have fun during those Christmas events, those evening parades, those times anywhere from 5:30, 6, 6:30 or so. But we'll have the specific times on our Facebook pages as well to make sure that they are accurate and just in case there is a change in the time as well. So appreciate everyone for watching and listening to the Never Off Duty podcast. We'll see you in the next episode.